Now for writing the formulas involving polyatomic ions, now that you know how to do the crisscrossing method for ionic compounds, these are not too hard because they're basically done the same way. So let's take this first one here, sodium carbonate. We have to start with our metal sodium. Whoops. I think I'm too close to the sodium carbonate. Let me just make that a little smaller so it's out of the way. So we've got our sodium, and then we have this carbonate. Now, because of that ending, ATE, that's a signal to you that what you're dealing with here is a polyatomic ion. So go to your list of polyatomic ions and look up what it is. And you'll see on that list, carbonate is CO3 with a 2- charge. Now remember, you want to treat that CO3 as being one thing. Keep it all together. It has this charge of 2- on it. Next, what we're going to do, if you remember, hopefully from the other lesson, we're going to crisscross those charges. So we will end up with Na, the 2 came down, and we're crisscrossing a 1 down around the CO3, so we don't need to worry about putting anything in there. So Na2CO3 is the correct formula for sodium carbonate. On to the next one. We've got magnesium hydroxide, and hydroxide was that really special one that I hope you, as soon as you see it, you'll just remember, oh, that's one of those polyatomic ions. It's got this OH with a 1- charge formula. So we'll write these symbols, Mg with a 2+ charge, hydroxide with its 1- charge, and we're going to crisscross. So let me change colors here. Crisscrossing a 2 and a 1. After crisscrossing, we end up with Mg. We've got a 1 coming down, so I'm not going to write that in. OH, and we have a 2 coming down. Now, if you write your formula this way, I will have to mark it wrong. The reason is when you're crisscrossing a 2, a 3, a 4, anything bigger than a 1, down around a polyatomic ion, you must put brackets around the polyatomic ion. Remember, we want to treat these polyatomic ions as a group, and so if you have 2 of them, you have to put them in brackets to show that you have 2 of them. Without the brackets, it looked like we had 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogens, and that doesn't make sense. That's not 2 hydroxides. The brackets around the 1 hydroxide with a 2 outside of that shows that this represents 2 hydroxides. So remember, brackets around any polyatomic ion when you have 2 or more of them. We'll practice a couple more here. This top one, iron 2 sulfate, is one of those multivalent metals. Iron 2, oops, getting caught up in this typing again. Fe, hold on a second, let me fix this. Get that out of there. Hang on a second. Okay, let's try this again. We've got our iron 2, which is Fe2+, and sulfate, as soon as I see that ATE, I know that that's a polyatomic ion. I'm going to look it up on my list of polyatomic ions, and I see that sulfate is SO4 with a 2- charge. So I'm crisscrossing 2 2's here. Do you remember what the rule is when your charges are the same? So remember, when you write the formula, those charges get canceled out because you need to show your ions in their lowest possible combining ratio. So I'm going to get rid of those 2 2's, and my formula is FeSO4. Okay, FeSO4. The next one, ammonium carbonate. Ammonium is this weird polyatomic ion. It has a positive charge, so it's a cation. There's only a couple of polyatomic ions that are cations. Ammonium is the most common one, so again, I would just say memorize this. Know when you see ammonium oh, it's a polyatomic ion. I got to look at my table and I'll find it there. And it's a positive one. So it's actually NH4 with a 1 plus charge. Carbonate, I see that 8 ending. I know it's a polyatomic ion. I look it up on the table and I see that its formula is CO3 with a 2 minus charge. And I'm going to crisscross the 1 and the 2. The ammonium I have to put in brackets because I'm crisscrossing a 2 down. I'm crisscrossing a 1 down to the carbonate, so I don't need to put it in brackets. I just write CO3, and that shows that there's 1 of those carbonates. So that's ammonium carbonate. So to conclude, I want you to practice these now. You're going to take a look at page 205 in your textbook and answer numbers 1 through 6. This should take you the rest of the period. But if you finish early, please go ahead and read ahead in your textbook about molecular compounds on pages 206 to 212. It's what we'll be covering in class tomorrow. And it's a little bit different than what we've been looking at, so you might want to get an early look at that. And if you could please go on Edmodo tonight and check out what your homework instructions are for tonight. I've got a video I would like you to watch for homework. And the video is going to help teach you about ionic compounds and molecular compounds and how they're different. It's a Khan Academy video, and it also goes into metallic bonding. And I don't want you to worry about metallic bonding. Watch it for interest because it's kind of cool the way that metals exist and explains metal properties a lot. But we're not going to be studying that in this course. I do need you to understand ionic bonding and covalent bonding, and that's what the first more than half of the video is about. So if you watch the video, you'll be in a really good position to understand the next class. So thanks for watching.